Pleasant good morning, everyone. Welcome yet again to the Sapphire Miriam Foundation's Dream Big Girls Empowerment Program. I am Simone Claxton, President and founder of the Sapphire Miriam Foundation, a nonprofit organization incorporated in the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So welcome to our third session, Leadership and SMART Goals. We want to thank all our young ladies for logging in today on time. We want to thank all our financial partners, Unit Trust Corporation, National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, NLCB, and TGU, Trinidad Generation Unlimited, who have supported us throughout the past couple of years. We want to thank them for their support. I want to thank all our partners throughout all the territories within the Caribbean and our partners in the US and in the UK as well. Thank you guys for joining us yet another day. So on the topic of leadership, we will have For Africa in the UK with us today, and we have Marsha Sewdass with SMART Goals. So I'm going to turn you over to Deborah Gibran, our in-house psychologist, and she's going to do a prayer and help lead our session. Thank you. Over to you, Deborah.
Thank you, Simone. Let's get ready for prayer, please. Oh, Heavenly Father, we come before you, servants of you, our God, our Savior, mighty God. We come before you to thank you for everyone who is on this platform this morning. Lord, we give you thanks and praise because you are our God, you are our Creator. Father, we come this morning to ask you to allow each speaker present in a way that is conducive to you, that everyone who is listening here and afterwards will be able to grasp something from the words of every speaker that is speaking here today. Father, we come before you, humble as we are, and ask that you guide us in a most holistic way this morning. Father, we also come before you to ask you, dear Lord, that you allow this program to go well today. And even after, we ask that you be with each and every one of us and our families in the most blessed way. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. So I now hand it over to you, Dr. Zina.
Amen and amen and amen and amen. Before we start, what I'm going to do quickly, I'd love to meet all of you. Thank you again, Simone and the entire team. Thank you so much for the collaboration and having us partner with you. It's a huge, huge, huge pleasure and honor and privilege. I speak on behalf of myself, Dr. Norva, and the entire For Africa UK team. We're very, very excited. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Who knows what the elephant in the room is? I'm asking only the young people now, not the, because the adults already know this. Elephant in the room. Okay, you guys are shy. I'm going to be picking on names right now. Let me start. And I can't see you guys on camera. You're all leaders and you're not on camera. Can we all have our cameras on, please? Please, 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 please. For those that have their cameras on, Ricardo, thank you. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Odelia and Jazz. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Marsha. I'm looking forward to your session. Thank you, Shadisha. Melanie, I saw you last week. Lovely to see you again. Who else? I'm still waiting. I'm not going to talk. Go ahead. I'm still waiting. Shadisha, okay. I'm still waiting. Some of you are in your kitchen. I know you should have been in the kitchen boiling rice. Thank you. Lorraine, I can hear you. Hi, Deborah. Yes, yes, yes. Some of you are coming. Good morning. I don't want good morning in the chat. I want good morning by seeing your face. It's good afternoon for me. Come on, come on. If I haven't called your name, please wave at me so I can see you. Right, okay. The elephant in the room is the fact that I've lost my voice. This is not my normal voice. However, as a leader that I am, just like all of you here, we push through. You don't allow anything to stand in the way. I can talk. So for the fact that I can talk, you guys will hear. I'm really, really excited. I'm going to share my screen in a minute. But before we start, who can tell me, and I will be picking on people again, who can tell me what they believe a leader is, or who is a leader? Who can tell me?
And I know that brother looking for me.
I can hear. If you've raised your hands, I can see Adelia. Yes, please. Can you tell us?
A leader is someone who just like leads people, like, and like shows them the way.
I like that. A leader is someone that leads people and shows someone the way. I like that. Jazz, what do you think?
A leader is someone, it could be like in a group, someone who who's leader of the group is the most respected, and they show them the way, just like Dealer said.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Thank you so much, Jazz. Melanie, over to you.
I think a leader is someone who takes the responsibility of guiding a group towards success, or at least trying and striving towards success.
This is music to my ears. I might as well just go home. I don't need to do anything because you guys are already leaders. Go ahead. Who else? I'm looking for someone else. Yes, Lorraine.
A leader is somebody that is willing to take up a role of guiding everybody to one common goal, I think.
I like that. I like that. One common goal. One common goal. I can see you guys have done your homework. I'm not letting you off. There are more leaders in the room. More leaders in the room. I need to hear you. More leaders in the room. What is a leader to you? More leaders in the room. Do we have shy leaders? Where are these leaders? I'm looking for these leaders.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A leader is someone that you look up to as a role model.
I like that. I like that. A leader is someone that you look up to as a role model. A leader is someone that is respected. A leader is someone that shows you the way. A leader is someone that sets goals. These are things that you guys have already mentioned. And like I said, please, Simone, Ricardo, entire team, can I go to bed? Because there's no need me doing this. And I can just hand over to Marsha. But no, let's continue. Let's continue. You've done really, really well. Now, can someone tell me, you've talked about some positive things about leadership. Who can tell me some traits of bad leadership? What is a bad leader to you? And this is only about how you feel. Maybe you have teachers, you have parents, or you have people in your teams at church, or whatever religious group you belong to that you see, or even if you work and you see, or you're thinking, no, this person is not a good leader. Odelia and Jazz, go ahead.
So we think that someone who's a bad leader is someone who pressures you to do stuff that you know is wrong and what you don't believe in. And just it doesn't follow what you believe.
I like that. I like that. And I just want to touch on something that we talked about last week when we were talking about peer pressure. Because sometimes, you know, a leader can be someone in your peer group. It doesn't have to be your teacher, your parents, it doesn't have to be your church leader, your cell group leader, it doesn't have to be your boss at work. It could be someone in your group. And like Odelia has rightly said, because someone that leads you to do something that you don't want to do, pressurizes you to do something that is bad. Another example, please. Melanie.
I think bad leadership would be like somewhat like an authoritarian. Like that type of leadership is you have little input. Like as a group member, you have little input to what is being done in the group because you are forced to do what the leader says. But whereas in a democratic leadership group, it would be much better because everybody has a say in what should be done, because the one person shouldn't have an opinion, because one person shouldn't have all the opinions. That is what I meant to say. Because sometimes other people could experience a situation differently, that is why you would take their opinions into consideration to what is to be done about the matter.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. You're already showing evidence that you've done some homework. I'm liking this group a lot. You've already started talking about, and we will touch on that later on when we talk about leadership styles. You know, you've got leadership styles, democratic, authoritarian, or someone that is very bossy, and we've got democratic, as you've already mentioned. So this is really, really great. Right, let's keep pushing on. You guys are very, okay, let's see, there's some people that have talked in the chat. A person who doesn't listen to others, a person who doesn't support and is selfish. I like that. A leader is someone you can look up to, yes. I like that. Well done. Keep them going on in the chat. Leanne, yes, one more. Go on, Leanne.
So I think I think something a bad leader would do would be like manipulation or forcing you or controlling you to do all the work and not getting a chance for a break or any time you could just spend doing something else and always pressuring you to do something you don't want to do.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that, you know, not listening to you, pressuring you to do what you don't want to do, not listening to other people. I like that. And what I've put on the screen here, you can take a picture of it. Ricardo will share it with the recording. These are some of the examples or characteristics of effective leaders. You've mentioned almost all of them. You've mentioned them already. So you've got someone that is accountable, someone that takes responsibility, someone that is a role model. Someone said that at the beginning, you know, you lead by example. Someone that has a vision, you know where you're taking people. You lead from the front. You can't be a leader and you have no vision. You know, there's a very good book for those of you that are Christians that says that where there is no vision, the people perish. So, if the leader has no vision, the people that are following, they're just going helter-skelter. You have a plan. Someone that knows how to plan, someone that has effective communication skills, even when you have lost your voice like I have. Someone like most of you have spoken. You don't have to always know the answer, but you need to be able to communicate. Someone that's motivational, you know how to tell people, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. You inspire confidence. So a leader is not someone that when things are all going wrong, because sometimes things go wrong and they're like, oh, we're all gonna die, but you're the leader. Oh, can you imagine being at school and your teacher tells you that you're never going to amount to anything? This school is going to rot to pieces. The school's going to burn down. And automatically, no one is confident. No one believes that they can do anything that would amount to anything. Many of us as adults today can look back at leaders that we had when we were little. Some of us, maybe we were not able to read, or we were not able to write, or we were not able to paint. And I remember last week, someone mentioned that last week, when you have a good teacher, that person can inspire you to greatness. And that's what it's about when you're talking about inspiring confidence in the team, in the group, in the family. Integrity, someone that is honest. Their yes is their yes and their no is their no. Someone that is a problem solver. When we're talking about problem solving, we're talking about chaos. There's always going to be chaos or a problem to solve in a group. It could be in a family at home. There might be a problem. There might not be any money, for instance, to pay a bill. The leader in that household will need to be able to know how to solve that problem. And even if you can't solve the problem yourself, you're able to find support. You're able to ask somebody else. You're not too proud to look for support. Someone that is supportive, and Leanne spoke about this just now, about being supportive. You know, you support other people, you support the good in people, you support potential. You're able to nurture potential, develop potential in other people. You're decisive. You can think outside the box. You're not always going to think about how things are done always in this particular way. You're going to be able to think outside the box. For instance, we now use computers. That means that someone somewhere thought outside the box and developed computers. And we have what we're using today, and people are still thinking outside the box. Now we can use our phones as computers. Many of you are using your phones like this. I can see for those of you that have your display in an oblong shape, I know that you're using your phone to log on to Zoom. That's because someone has thought outside the box to actually invent that. Then we've got someone that has a positive attitude. You're not always going to be up there, but when you're leading a team, leading a group, you need to be someone that has a positive attitude most of the time. And even if you don't, you have the right people around you to make sure that you have a positive attitude when you're down. Now, how many people can say they have all these qualities? So we're going to talk about leadership styles in a minute, but I want you to look at these questions, and you can write them on your piece of paper in your notebook and start thinking about, your leadership style. Melanie spoke about democratic. She spoke about delegating. She spoke about authoritative, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But none is wrong. Each of these styles have a place and a place for it to operate in. It all depends on the group. It depends on the team. It depends on where you are. And some of you might be very bossy in the way you do things. It's your way or the highway. Some of you might be very democratic. Some of you might be very delegative. Some of you might have a coaching style. Some of you might have a kind of affiliative style. You like to affiliate and collaborate. So what I want you to do is look at these questions and just answer yes or no to yourself. Can you see that? And you can put a yes or no to it. Great. Yes, keep them coming. Answer. It could be a yes or no. There's no right or wrong. I'll give you about two minutes to do that, and I'll put the next question in a minute. If you miss it, don't worry, because I will give these questions to Ricardo later on, so you can always check again. You've got maybe 10 more seconds. So let's get this snappy. 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. A long 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Sometimes. I like the sometimes. I love you, Shaquila. Keep going. More. You've got 5 more seconds left, and I'm putting the next question. All right. I listen to others, but I want to have the final say. You've got 20 seconds. Come on, quick. Leaders are fast. Fast on their feet. Quick. Keep it coming. Quick. Just think that maybe £1 million is going to be given to you if you're the fastest. That's the kind of speed I want. Fast. On your feet. Quick. Quick. And I'm going to do 2 more. So quick. You've got another 10 seconds. Quick. Yeah, you guys are slowing down. Quick. Have you not had your morning breakfast? No cornmeal porridge, no toast. All right, okay. One more question after this one, and then we'll move on. 10 seconds, remember, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. And the last question's coming up. Now, what I've done, oh, yes or no. I like that, Ricardo. Now, I've got the last one. Now, there are about 15 questions here, so I've just taken some of them. Quick. One more person after Shaquina before I put the last question. Right. Now, I don't know what you're answering yes or no to now, but mistakes are not acceptable. Right. Wow, that's quite interesting. That is quite interesting. Many of you have said mistakes are not acceptable. That is interesting. That is very interesting. Oh, some of you are saying it's a part of life. I like this. Okay. We're going back to where we are. Thank you so much for participating. This will give you a little bit of an idea of the kind of leadership style that you have. Now, many of you just in this last one said that mistakes are not acceptable. So that could put you into the authoritative leadership style, where it's, and there's nothing, no, don't be embarrassed. There's no right or wrong about it. It means that you believe that you hold all the branches, you have all the answers, and you make the final decision. It means that you don't particularly like to listen to others because you feel you have the answer. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have all the knowledge. But it's also for us to be a bit wary of that, to be a little bit cautious, to remember that you have a team, you have a family, and just to get their own buy-in as well. You've got delegative. Some of you have answered that, you like people to, get involved. That's also okay. But you don't want to delegate so much that you delegate your power completely. So that's really important. For those of you that like people, like me, I'm a people person. I like people to get involved. But you have to always remember that you wear the hat. When things go wrong, they're not going to look at your family. So if you are a single mother, for instance, in the group, I know we had some last week. If you're a single mother, for instance, you can say, oh, I want to, love my children. I want them to, and all this, that, and the other. But when things don't go right, they're going to be looking to you to make a decision. When things go wrong, they're going to say, Mommy, Mom, what are you doing? Dad, what are you doing? Teacher, what are you doing? Boss, what are you doing? So it's good to delegate and trust people, but delegate based on where you think that their potential and their strengths lie. Don't delegate something that you know that they don't have strengths to do. Delegate based on the potential that you have recognized, but also delegate and check in to make sure that they are okay, that they're actually understanding the goal that you have set for them, they're understanding the task that you have given them. Normally, when we have authoritative leadership styles, is because it's more task-oriented. You've given a task to be done, a task that has a defined beginning, middle, and end. And Marsha later on will talk a bit more about that. And then you've got democratic. You want to get everybody's opinion, and that's okay. We have democratic government. We all vote to put someone in power. But even with that, there still has to be someone that leads from the front. If you're not leading from the front, people are walking left, right, and center, and they don't know where they belong. Now, these are some of the qualities we talked about earlier on in terms of the qualities of a great leader. Many of you talked about being honest. You talked about confidence. I want to touch quickly on commitment. As a leader, you need to be committed to whatever that task or goal or vision or plan is. You have to be committed. Come rain, come sun. I'll give you a very good story. Some of you might have heard this story before. There was this man and he was talking to his mom and he said, oh, I don't want to go to church today. I don't like those people. They're so stiff-necked. They don't listen. They're really, disobedient. They don't do this. They don't do. And mom said, you need to go. You need to go. And he said to his mom, give me one good reason why I need to go to church today. And the mom said, because you are the senior pastor. So when you are a leader, it doesn't matter how stiff-necked people are. It doesn't matter how maybe sometimes your team may not be the right team for you, or they may be disobedient. And I use that word, very cautiously, or they may be rebellious, or they may doubt your leadership style. They may feel they can do it better. It doesn't matter. You have to be committed to the task ahead. Say, for instance, and for those of you that are Christians, you will understand this. Even right now, as Christians, those of us are Christians, we're not the best people to get along with. I can imagine if I was God, I would have dealt with all of us. I would have destroyed all of us. But God is not like that. Even the way that we behave, he still loves us, he still leads us, and he still wants us to follow him. And that's an example that is good for all of us, no matter what religion you believe in. And then let's talk about approach. You need to have the right approach for the right group, the right task, the right vision, the right approach. You can't, you can't use fire and brimstone for a group of people that are not the right group. So for instance, if you're leading a group of children in kindergarten that are between the ages of 2 to 5, you can't be shouting at them and telling them that you're going to kill them any second now because they don't listen to you. Or if you're leading a group of people that are very, very sensitive in nature, maybe they've just come out through counseling, you have to have the right approach for the right group, looking at their, not just their academic background, but their sensitivity, that, what are they going through? What have they gone through? It's really, really important. And you need to be able to customize, as you can see at the bottom there, you need to be able to customize your approach based on the group and based on the person and based on the situation. We've talked about delegative, so I'm not going to talk about that. Now, I'm going to talk about influence. And the reason why I'm going to talk about influence, who can tell me a little bit about influence before I talk about influence? Because this is important. Odelia.
So influence is something that's like gone down. So someone can like push you or influence you to do something. Just like a leader can push you to try something new or influence you to do something new.
I like that. Thank you so much for sharing, Odelia. Jazz, do you want to add to that?
No, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Any others? Any others? Come on, these are leaders. Why are you all quiet? I need some more talking. Melanie, I'm going to pick on you because I love you to bits. Melanie, tell me about influence.
Influence could be two ways. Somebody could aspire or influence you. If somebody could like motivate you to do something,
Yes.
or they could force you to do something in a different way. Like they could influence you to do something where through persuasion instead of motivation. And that's the two kind of influences that you have to be aware of, because it may not be the right choice all the time. Some people in persuasion, they may make you think that you're doing the correct thing when it's not really what you were expecting to be doing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Melanie. Joanna, you've been really quiet today. I'm not going to let that fly. Joanna Nurse, where are you?
I'm right here. Sorry for the noise in the background.
No problem.
My take on influence is that, as Melanie said, it have two different ways, but for me, I find it have three different ways. Where, yes, somebody can influence you on doing something good, they can do that bad as well, and they could take advantage as it as well. It has so many ways and so many different ways people could take advantage of you just by doing something like that. So now I think it have three different ways to influence.
I like that. Thank you so much, Joanna. I thought, no. Why is Joanna not speaking? Kalia, have I said your name properly? Kalia Skelly? You're not on camera, but I can see your name, so you need to speak. Go ahead. And I don't know why we can't see your beautiful face.
Miss, I can't get to put on my camera.
Why?
When I press the button, it's saying they can't detect my camera.
Okay, no problem. Okay, let's talk about influence. What do you understand by influence?
Like influences people to do something that they don't want to do, like making them think it's something right, and then when they do it, they realize they do something wrong.
I like that. Thank you so much for your contribution as well. Jada. Jada, we can see you. We can't see your face. Jada, what's your take on influence? The reason why I'm picking on you, because we're all leaders and we need to be ready at any time to lead. And that includes speaking. So Jada? Yes? No? You shy? Okay, I'll let you off for now, but be ready because I'm going to ask you a question. So be ready, Jada. Now, you can see the quote here from John C. Maxwell, who is really one of the authorities, the main authority when it comes to leadership. He's written so many books about leadership, 365 Leadership, the 12 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. He's written so many books, and he's a Christian, so that's that as well. But anyway, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. Now leaders, you all spoke, I think Joanna, Melanie, and I forgot, and I think Khalil. Let me look for your name. Yeah, yes, Kalaya. You're all correct.
Yeah.
Kalia. Okay, thank you so much for pronouncing it properly. I'm so sorry. You all spoke about influence very, very well, and Odelia as well. You know, leadership is about influence, and you've all identified you can have positive influence, you can have negative influence. But I want you all to know that you are all, including myself, all of us, we are all influential. So we just need to be careful and cautious on the kind of influence that we exude, because you can either be a positive leader or you can be a not so positive leader or a negative leader or a bad leader. But whether you like it or not, you are leading someone somewhere, either positively or negatively, because you have influence. That's really, really important. So how many of you believe that you're influential? I should expect everyone to be saying yes. And if you don't think you're influential, tell me why. Let me check the chat. Let's see, what are we saying in the chat? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Keep it going. You've got 2 seconds. This shouldn't take anyone long to do. You're leaders, leaders, leaders. Everyone, Karen, yes. You're all leaders. Well done, ladies. Well done, ladies. Leaders with a difference. Now, when we talk about leadership, I thought I'll put this on because sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes the people we lead, our friends, our families, they make mistakes, but sometimes we make mistakes in our leadership. Sometimes we do things wrong, we lead wrongly, we maybe influence someone to do something they shouldn't do, and we didn't intend to do it. It means that we need to be compassionate towards ourselves when we make that mistake, because we will make mistakes. We need to, like we like to say in the UK, cut ourselves some slack. We need to be compassionate towards ourselves and give ourselves the opportunity to do better because we know better. Leadership is always about continuous development. And I can see your hand, Joanna. Give me a second. Leadership is always about continuous development. When you get it wrong, you look for how you can get it right. You look for books. There's lots of stuff on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. You can go to the library. You can go to coaches, to mentorship programs like this and find out how you can do it better. But more often than not, don't give yourself a hard time, because if you give yourself too much of a hard time, you're forgetting that there are still people that depend on you to get out of bed every morning to lead them or teach them or show them something right to do. It could be the way you dress. It could be the way you carry yourself when things are going wrong. It could be someone in your school, in your college, in your workplace, just watching you from afar. Because sometimes you don't even know that you're leading someone. You have no idea. They're watching you from afar. So if you get it wrong, be compassionate on yourself, cut yourself some slack, and keep it stepping. Yes, Joanna, you had a question.
One of my questions is that social media has a bad influence in this generation today. Everyone could see that. And when I mean bad, I mean like totally beyond negative, beyond bad. Because it would have some children that would look up to certain people and be like, okay, what they're doing is right. And when they try it, it's totally opposite. It's wrong. It's negative, you know? And now I'm just like, as you said, self-compassion. That brings me back to cyberbullying and them thing on social media. When you get bullied or when you somebody commenting on that picture you posted saying, you're not looking pretty, you're too fat, you're this and you're that, people will take it out on themselves without thinking, I don't want to take on this person wrong. I know I'm beautiful on the inside and the outside. So people will think when they see comments like those under any post or anything, they will be like, probably that person is true, probably that person is right, and what they're saying, and I should do some work on myself. But really and truly, you don't. You're just taking on what the network or whatever app you're using they say. So that's just like one of my.
Joanna, I think that is a very, very good point. And something I mean, I wasn't going to share it today, but I want you to understand that if you are a bully as a child, you will be a bully 9 times out of 10, even as a grown up. Just this morning, I was on TikTok and I was watching something that a lady my age was talking about with regards to, she was saying, that some of you call yourself influencers and you have only 10 followers and 5 followers. And you're saying, oh, get ready with me. Why are you online? You shouldn't be online. And she's getting a lot of attack now from everyone. I'm still planning on my own response. I don't know her personally, but I felt that this lady must be at least 50 years old and you're already, showing negativity for people that are trying to grow their brand or trying to use social media in a positive way. So you're absolutely correct. People can post things, whether at 10 years old, 15 years old, 50 years old, 40 years old, and there'll be someone somewhere with their negativity. And there'll be other people who will listen to that negativity and believe that what that person has said is true, and they will jump on the bandwagon, or they will believe that what that person has said about them, like you said, they will take it on and feel that is so true. My picture is horrible. My business is horrible. In fact, with this story that I've just given you, there was a lady, I don't know her, but I was just looking at the various, responses. And there's a lady, I don't know, somewhere in New York. She's about 26, 27 years old. And she was crying that she has 200 followers and she's been trying to grow her business. And after listening to that lady, she's taken off all her stuff because she thinks that she shouldn't be doing that. So this is why it's really important to be careful how you show up as a leader. If you want to be a positive leader, and all of us must want to be, and I use this word very strongly, we must want to be positive leaders. We must lead with authenticity. We must lead with compassion, not just for ourselves when we get it wrong. When we get it wrong, we should put our hands up. So I'm expecting that lady to maybe do another post next week sometime and say, oh, I said something about this. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Even if people don't take it, there are people that she has never met who are no longer going to be running their business just because of something that she said. So you need to be compassionate to the people that you're leading. You need to be clear. You need to be respectful. It doesn't matter if someone looks ugly in your sight. Who are you to judge? It doesn't matter if someone's business doesn't have 1 million followers, and so what? Everyone started somewhere. Rome was not, built in a day. You've heard that. You need to be accountable for your actions. You need to be so respectful, and you need to be humble. It doesn't matter how much, you might be popular now in school. Maybe you're the kingpin or the queen in your school and everyone's following you. Everyone's listening to you. You still need to be humble and understand that with leadership comes responsibility. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You have to be authentic, and not authentically bad, but authentically good. And I can see things in the chat. Let me quickly see. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Please, please, please. You are young people now, but I don't want you to end up being horrible adults. There are so many horrible adults, so many. And I hear what you're saying, Joanna, in terms of social media can be very negative, but there's also a lot of positive on it. There's a lot of positivity on it. And so it's for us to be able to wade through the tares, the wheat and the tares, and look for the gold that you can get in it. There's learning. You can learn from it. You can see what other people are doing and learn from their example and build a brand like that, or learn education, or learn how to drive, or learn how to read, or learn about films. There's so much to learn on there. But I agree, there's also a lot of negativity. So it's important as young leaders to know your values. And we spoke about this last week. Know your core values and don't sway away from them. And make sure that you have people that are speaking into your life. A leader that does not have someone, a mentor or a coach, supporting them is a rubbish leader. And pardon my French. But if you're not having anyone that you are accountable to, that you look up to, then there's no point. Now, I'm going to go quickly because I know I've got a little bit. No, we're almost near the end. And if we were doing this live, I would have asked all of us to stand up and say this together. If I ask everyone to unmute, we're probably not going to hear this. So, or we can actually, because it'll be noisy, but at least I know that you're saying it. So can I ask everyone to unmute? And we're going to say this together. It may be noisy, but at least you're saying it. So we're going to unmute everyone as possible. For those of you that have maybe noise in the background and you feel it's going to be a bit more distractive, then you can say it or mute. Now, we're talking about positive leadership, and I want us to all recite this, and you'll get the slides anyway. Positive leadership. I am a positive role model and leader. Can you all say that, please?
I am a positive
Role model and leader.
I am proud to be the type of leader who inspires others to give their best.
I am
proud to be the type of leader who inspires others to give their best.
I relish the opportunity to show others how different the outcome can be if they maintain a positive outlook.
I relish the opportunity to show others how different the outcome can be if they maintain
a positive outlook.
Fantastic. I use my own examples to inspire others to attain their goals.
I use my own examples to inspire others to attain their goals.
Fantastic, fantastic. My leadership role in life gives me the opportunity to have one-on-one interactions with others and make an indelible impact. I will use those sessions to motivate them to set and achieve daily goals. Your turn.
My leadership role in life gives me the opportunity to have one-on-one interactions with others and make an indelible impact. I will use those sessions to motivate them and set and achieve my goals.
Fantastic. Keep going. Well done, ladies. I'm a firm believer in encouraging others to strive for their goals for their own personal satisfaction.
I am a firm believer in encouraging others to strive for their goals for their own personal satisfaction.
For their own personal.
I will tell others that the opinion which matters, and this is especially with regards to what Joanna was talking about in terms of social media and everything. She didn't see my slides, so it was really wonderful that she actually made that point. I will tell others that the opinion which matters the most is their own. So your own opinion matters about yourself. I will encourage them to avoid focusing too much on the expectations of others and concentrate instead on what truly makes them feel proud.
I will tell others
that the opinion which matters the most is their own.
I will
encourage them to avoid focusing too much on the expectations of others and concentrate instead on what truly makes them proud.
Amen. And now for the single mothers among you, there was some last week, and I don't know if you're here today, but I was thinking about and I was praying about this last night. I want you to know that as the head of your household comes a lot of responsibility. So you can say this, being the head of my household comes with a lot of responsibility, which I endeavor to use in beneficial ways. I will continuously remind myself that my children are looking up to me for examples on how to live. So I ensure that those examples are positive. Go ahead.
For the single mothers among you, being the head of my household comes with a lot of responsibility, which I endeavor to use in beneficial ways. I continuously remind myself that my children are looking up to me for examples of how to live. So I ensure that those examples are positive.
Amen. And we're almost there. I teach my kids to love themselves and believe in their true potential.
I teach my kids to love themselves and believe in their true potential.
And last but not least, today, all of us, today, I view my leadership as being in any position where I have influence over others.
I view my leadership as being in any position where I have influence over others.
With that way of looking at it, there are many circles for which I am considered a leader.
With that way of looking at it,
there are many circles for which I am considered a leader.
I commit to being responsible in each instance to show positive examples of living.
I
commit to being responsible.
Showing positive examples of
each instance to show positive
I commit to being responsible in each instance to show positive examples of living.
I was going faster than you. Sorry, don't mind me. Now, these are some self-reflection questions you need to ask yourself, where you can find positive leadership examples to emulate. And are you able to help others to achieve a positive outcome from a negative situation? People at school, people in your church, people in your family. And do you always portray a positive outlook? And even if you don't, what can you do to do that? And how can you get it back? So these are questions here. And I want you to look at this. This is back another interactive time. Now, who can tell me, who can identify some of the people on the screen here?
That is very simple.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Who said that?
Joanna.
Okay, Joanna, go ahead. You can only mention one person.
Rihanna.
Okay, Rihanna. Okay, Jazz or Delia, you had your hands up.
I can't remember her name, but the lady under the logo who's in Wakanda.
Yes, name is Letitia Wright. Yes. Back to you, Joanna.
Yeah.
Yes. Who else can you identify?
Haley.
Yes, Haley from Little Mermaid, yeah? Anyone else?
Yeah. Obama wife.
Princess has her hands up.
Okay, go ahead. Look at this. Right, so Shakwana.
Oh, and just to add from what the Joanna said, Haley released a song called Angel.
Yes, she did. She did. Lovely song as well. And I think, Karen, you had your hands up as well.
Michelle Obama.
Yes, well done. Who else had their hands up? Because I can't see. Anyone else?
I see Miss Simon Claxton.
Yes. I was wondering who was going to notice her. Yes, well done. Anyone else? Right. Okay, so we've got now this lady. Who knows who these people on the top here?
Serena Williams.
And she's not by herself.
Venus.
Venus, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And the person on right underneath, do you know her name?
Coco Golf.
Yes, and why is she a leader? What did she do?
Plays tennis, of course.
Yes, but she did something that people didn't believe could happen.
She beat Serena.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So leaders always do things that people don't expect. Now there's some other people here. There's this lady here.
Simone Biles.
Yes,
Simone
Biles. Yes,
Gymnast.
a gymnast. Yes, she just got married. You got this lady here, Jackie Aina, does makeup on YouTube. She's one of the forerunners when it comes to social media and makeup for Black people. This lady here, I've forgotten her name. She's does hair care. You know, that all these people are leaders. But who is this person here? Who can identify this person here? Odelia, yes.
Is that meant to be ourselves?
Well done, well done, well done, well done. So I want you to know that all these different people, and there are so many other people. We could have put Oprah, we could have put so many people. But this person here is the most important in this list, even more important than Miss Simone. You are important as a leader. So you need to understand that, and you need to walk in your power. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to remember that you are influential. You need to check yourself and ask yourself, are you giving good leadership or bad leadership? Are you, positively influencing someone, or are you negatively? You always have to ask yourself this question. And as we said, this is about leadership development. So quickly, these are 5 ways you can actually develop your leadership. You need to be self-aware. You need to always understand what you're doing. Sometimes we're completely oblivious to how we behave and how we lead. You need to be able to recognize what your strengths and your weaknesses are, especially your blind spots. And sometimes you may not know them, but you need to be humble enough, that's that word again, humility, to have the right people to be able to tell you, the right people that can call you into account, the right people, no matter how popular, how famous, how important you become. You have the right people to be able to pull you aside and say, Shekinah, Simone, Ricardo, Zina, Dr. Norva, Dr. Bobby, Marsha, you're not really walking right. You need to change your ways, and be able to tell you in a way that you'll be able to receive it. You need to also be able to go the extra mile to develop your social skills. That could be speaking, that could be your body language. Many of you are not on camera, but if you were on camera, I can tell immediately from your body language whether you're engaging or whether you're not. Sometimes someone might be speaking to you and you might have your shoulder like this. Your parents might talk to you, you might just cut your eye. You have to be able to develop your social skills in such a way that even if you feel like that, no one can see it, especially when you go into the big wild world and you're in the workplace. You're in the workplace, your boss may say something that you really don't agree with, but you need to be able to keep your body under subjection, keep your body language, your social skills, the way you speak, in a positive way, so that you can actually persuade people contrary to what you may even be thinking about. Keep an eye on your emotions. If you're someone that's quick-tempered, know how to deal with it. If you're someone that cries very easily, if you're someone that's easily hurt, easily offended, take offense in everything, check it, put it in check, learn how to develop it. Also, be someone that knows how to manage conflict. Where there's conflict, where you are, be the person to look for ways to manage that conflict. Don't be the person that pours water or fire on that conflict, and know about what people are thinking. Now, we're almost at the end. I want you to take a picture of this with your phone and then answer these questions later on in your own spare time. Maybe you might want to start by at least answering the first one, so at least you have something to aspire to. Write down the names of 3 people that you admire or you look up to. Don't put it in the chat. This is for you. Put it on your phone, in your notebook. And then you need to ask yourself, what are the qualities or the characteristics that you admire most about each of them? You can take a picture of this. It will also be shared. I'll take a picture of this so that after the session, you can do this, later on this morning where you are, or in the afternoon.
Or a screenshot if you're on a laptop.
Yes.
Yeah, I took sorry to interject. I took a screenshot of it and I'll be posting it in the WhatsApp community so that the young ladies could do the assignment afterwards themselves.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ricardo. That's very, very helpful. And then you need to ask yourself, why do you think you admire those three characteristics that you have mentioned? What has drawn you? What has drawn you? What is charismatic about that quality? And then you can list 1 or 2 ways that you can further develop those particular qualities in yourself, and also score yourself in those qualities. Do you have it? Not really, or midway, neither, yes or no, or you have it a lot, and figure out how you can further develop or nurture that. Now we're right at the end, but we'll have about 5 minutes for questions and answers, although you've already answered some. But this is a saying that both myself and Dr. Norva love a lot. We say all the time, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. John C. Maxwell. So if you think that you're leading, but no one's looking at you, no one's following you, you're just walking, sis. You're just walking. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for listening. God bless you all. Wow. My voice held up. We bless God.
All right, girls. Do you have any questions? Come on, leaders. Where are my leaders? Where are my leaders? Melanie.
Please excuse. I heard the gentleman mention in the group there's a WhatsApp. From what group?
Yes, if you send me your number, I can just add you to the group. Excellent.
All right. So I'm going to text you it.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
So you're coming out of Guyana?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. Save some dal puri for me, and pepper pot.
I will.
In the interest of making sure that Marsha has time for her segment comfortably as well, and to make sure that we wash wares afterwards. I want to thank Poor Africa UK. That was amazing, Dr. Zina. You did a fantastic job. I have notes. And I've been in leadership for a little bit now, and I was still able to take so many points from it now that it could help me continue to develop other leaders. So I really, really appreciate it. I love that 12-point questionnaire in the beginning, because I realized that I maybe hit 8 or 9, but the others that I couldn't hit, I recognize that that's why I work in a team. Because an important part of leadership is the ability to work with other leaders. Because if you can't work with other leaders, well, then the thing you are building could never grow. It will only develop in the space that you are strong. It will never develop in the space where you need help. Okay? For the young ladies here, leadership is important. It is important that you become comfortable in who you are, because the world needs who you are. The new Black Panther is a little girl out of Guyana as far as the world is concerned. And she has taken the world by storm. We have 17 and 18-year-old girls who are beating people who have been at the heads of the fields for over nearly 2 decades. And then you have them saying, listen, this is mentally challenging for me. I need to take a break. One of the things with Simone Biles, I think she's only re-entering gymnastics this weekend or something like that.
Yeah, she took a break.
And she took a break in the middle of the Olympics. So what you're seeing is that even as a leader, the accountability is not just to another leader or mentor, but that personal responsibility and to the people that you're leading to say, I need to rest. I need help. I need to stop, because you will end up leading people down the same bad road that you might be going. So leadership is not just about being able to carry people, it's about knowing when to stop too. Have a great session, and I want to thank you all so much for your interaction. And I've been waiting for this part myself because Marsha is a boss. She changed our entire semester last year with an exercise that she put us through in the beginning of it. So I'm looking forward to what she has to offer now. So good morning, Marsha. How are you doing?
Hi everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Zina. I bow to you because that was an amazing presentation. And I do hope that I could do justice to follow that amazing presentation. But hello, girls. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are perched in the world. My name is Marsha, Sewdass, and I just want to introduce myself to those of you who are meeting me for the first time. I come from the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and I serve persons as a coach in mindset and communication. So if you hear the word communication, it means I love to hear you speak. So you know you're going to have lots of opportunity to answer questions, because just like Dr. Zina, I'm a people person and I love to communicate. I love to hear the voices, right? And you know what? If Dr. Zina was able to carry through with her presentation on like a few percentages of her own voice, well, all of us could do it. Yeah. So again, welcome everybody to this session with me. I am very honored to be here. And I love the way, you know, I do believe everything happens in a flow and a certain way that it will just seamlessly flow into the next. So from the topic of leadership, especially the slide that Dr. Zina did with the ladies that you know of, all these ladies who are popular on social media for sports and for philanthropic work and for all the different things. They got to be in leadership. And there are many people who are not there, because if you were to fill the screen, it will be thousands of people. Think about people in your own life. Who are the persons in your own life who are leaders? But the thing is, how it relates to what I'm going to talk about, which is goal setting. And I'm going to start to share my slide just now. Goal setting, it means that they got to be leaders because they would have set some goals. It doesn't happen like that. It didn't happen overnight, but they work towards getting where they've reached. So before I start to share goals, I want to hear some voices first, because like I said, I'm a communication coach as well, and I love to listen. I love to hear you. So what do you think goals are? It's lovely to put up my slide, but I want to hear what you think so I know where I'm starting at. When you hear the word goals, what comes to your mind? What do you think a goal is? And you can put your hand up. I would love to hear you speak. Yes, Joanna?
To put your mind to something.
All right, to put your mind to something. Fantastic. Odelia, as I'm calling you as I see you, right? So, Odelia?
Setting something that you want to achieve for the near future. Or it could be future or in the future.
Okay, so near or even long term, short term or long term, yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I love this name and I hope I say it correctly. Mikhail?
Michael, but it's not too bad. I feel like a goal is something that you like strive towards.
Yes, you strive towards something. Great. Princess?
A goal is something that you want to reach in a set of time or achieve.
You know, I feel just like Dr. said, I could pack up and leave because you've got this, right? But let's hear some more answers, right? Lorraine? Did I hear you? Yes.
A goal is something you'll be willing to work towards and put your mind to, so that eventually you'll be able to do it and actually accomplish something.
You hit it on the head. You all are doing some fantastic definitions. I am glad this is being recorded because your definitions are spot on. Melanie?
Something
Yes,
that you are motivated towards striving to accomplish in future.
Yes, that you're motivated to do. I love the fact that everyone, so far all the answers, each answer is building upon the other, right? Each answer is building upon the other. Fantastic. I'm going to take this answer and then we're going to move to the next part of my presentation. Kalia?
Miss, our goal is something I'm willing to work to achieve.
Yes, that you're willing to work to achieve. Great. Some fantastic concepts came out of that live answer session. It is something you're motivated to do. It's something you want to be successful in. It is something that you want to achieve. It is something for the long term or the short term. So we are coming up and we're going to use those concepts to actually make a plan, a way of how we're going to set and achieve some goals. Because not only those who achieve public fame, like what the ladies that we saw earlier on, but even in our own lives, there are goals that we would want to achieve because we just want to get better. We want to grow. We want to have a mindset that takes us to be able to get better and better each day. We came up with the word short term. Do you know short term also means what you want to achieve, just like, for example, in this little session, all right? So when you came into the session today, so you got your invitation, you knew you were coming on Saturday, you set your time, but what was your goal for being in this session? So that's what we mean as for short term, things that can happen in a short space of time. And long term could be things that you want to achieve for today, for this week, for this month, for the new school term, or we have students here, things that you want to achieve in the new academic year, because when school opens in a few weeks, it will be a new academic year. And then we can break that down in term 1, term 2, term 3, or semester 1, 2, or 3. And then we could even break it down. What are you going to do each month? What are your goals for September? What are your goals for each week in September? And that's how we're going to achieve it. But I'm going to share my slide now and be ready to answer some more questions. Because, like I said, I love interaction. So let's go with that. Okay, so we're going for the goal. All right, we have big dreams, big goals. We're going for that. Thank you, so that we all see. So these are some strategies for converting wishful thinking into achievable goals. So many of us, I'll tell you why the word wishful thinking is there. Anybody here ever sit down and daydream? Yeah? You could put it in emoji, a thumbs up, right?
Yes, I have a lot.
Yes, we daydream. I could put more thumbs up. I don't know if my other presenters here could do that. We daydream. We see people doing other things and we get feeling like, oh, that's quite a cool thing they did. And I wonder if I could do that too. Or, oh gosh, wouldn't it be great to really get an A in this subject, or just do better than I did last year? Or maybe I love poetry. Wouldn't it be great if I could just write a few poems before the end of the year? Or whatever it is that you wish to accomplish. Some of you love fashion designing, some of you love all kinds of different things. But we sometimes, and you can put up your hand if you're guilty of this, sometimes we leave it as wishful thinking. Hands up, anybody? Sometimes we leave it as wishful. I see Mr. Ricardo has put up his hands. We leave it as wishful thinking. But everything starts with a thought. So nothing is wrong with thinking. Everything starts in the mind, right? It starts with a thought. That's where seeds are planted. And if you subscribe to kingdom thinking and to the Bible, Christianity, it will tell you that, he sends creative thoughts to you, but it's your gift of what you do with it, right? You can leave it as wishful thinking, leave it as thoughts, or we could set some strategies in place to make it actually happen. And you know what? When people are amazing tennis players like Serena and Venus Williams and amazing speakers and actresses, and they end up somewhere, hey, it was a thought they had at one point, but they didn't just think and the next day it happened. It took some strategy. Are you ready to put some strategy into those wishful thoughts? Tell me if you are, so we can move on.
Yes,
Yeah?
I am.
All right, great. Lovely. Let's go with that. Here's a quote. I love quotes. You can take it down in your notebook. Arriving at one goal is the starting point to another. Right? John Dewey. So life is such that we go from strength to strength. You may not remember this, but your parents would remember this, your mom or your dad, when you were a baby, probably around between 9 months to probably a year and a half. Your goal, you didn't know it yet, was to actually stand and walk, right? Most babies. And they would fight it, and they would crawl, and they would try, and they would hold on, and they would pull up, and they would move. And you know what? They eventually got it. They tried and tried and tried. Now, after you learned to walk, you didn't stop there, you know. It would set the stage for another goal. Then you had to learn to run. Then you wanted to learn to climb the stairs or climb off the bed. And little by little, you got better and better. When you master one goal, it sets the stage to go a little higher, stretches you. It's growth. It's called growth. So instead of reading all these answers, I just heard all these answers from you. So why do we need goals? And you all gave a wealth, a wonderful treasure chest of answers, even more than just these three here, right? So it allows our thoughts and ideas to be structured, prioritized, and aligned. Goals inspire us. And do you know when we achieve goals, we could inspire someone else? Do you know what a blessing it is to be a blessing to someone else? Because the things that you do could inspire someone else. And sometimes it doesn't take us telling the person. The person will observe and they will learn. Sometimes it could be your circle of friends, your classmates, relatives, cousins, neighbors. They see you doing something and they get inspired. And your actions are speaking louder. You don't even have to say anything, right? And goals keep us accountable, especially to ourselves. So, you know, you could look back and say at the end of, here's a question. This is for everybody. This is for all my persons who are presenters like myself and for our young ladies here. At the end, picture this, I'm putting a scenario out there. So you can close your eyes and you can go in the canvas of your imagination right now and put yourself in the scenario of it's December 31st, 2023. You're in your lovely party outfit. You're in a nice New Year's Eve party. In Trinidad, you know, we say All Years, right? So you're in a party there. And you're with friends and you're with loved ones. And it's a nice environment. And it's coming close to midnight. So you know the year is going to change. And someone asks you, one of your good partners or friends asks you, how was 2023? And you say, it was a good year. It was fantastic. And then they ask you, what made it so good? What made it fantastic? Can you plug in the answer there? I'm going to leave that blank for you to plug in the answer right there, because that answer will depend on what you were able to accomplish that year. What are you proud of? What have you done? Or did you set goals for the new year and you're going to recycle them? Or maybe like me, you've been recycling a few goals for a few years now, right? We've been there, done that. But you know what? Let's try to actually make it happen. So that blank space, I'm going to leave that to you to fill it in. I see some hands going up. I'm going to attend to those questions in a little bit. Just let me move forward with this, yeah? Right, write it. A general rule of goal setting is to write it down. There are different ways we can write it. If you know about writing a vision board, it can be the start of that. And I'll give you a tip. Sometimes we say vision boards are just for a year. No, you can actually write a vision board for a month, right? What are you going to do this month? If you're a business person like myself, you may be writing out a vision board for a quarter, right? People know about those things. What are we going to do in the next business quarter? What are we going to do this week? I set goals for what I'm going to cook every week, right? Just between you and I. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me accountable to how I'm going to schedule my time so that I know what I'm going to make on a particular day. I don't have to wonder, oh my gosh, do I even have that ingredient? I do that. It keeps me accountable. Do you do anything like that to keep you accountable? Right? I have a calendar, an app that I use to track my my day of work, when I drop my kids off to school, when I have meetings to attend, when I do different things. Yeah. So it keeps us accountable, it tracks our progress, and it lets us know where our strengths lie and where our weaknesses are, and how we could capitalize and fix the weaknesses and capitalize on the strengths. I'm coming to questions in a little while. I know we have lots of things to say. I'm coming to you soon. So we want to get into this strategy called the S.M.A.R.T strategy. So you could take a note in your notebook, the S.M.A.R.T strategy, and that's the meaning for each letter in the word SMART. Okay, so specific, and all these words came out in your responses at the beginning. Specific, measure. Specific means exactly what you want to do. And I'll get into some examples soon. Measurable, actionable, relevant or relatable, and time bound, meaning you're going to give it a time frame. I'm going to give you a quick 10 seconds, make a note in your book so that we can build upon each thing. And over many years, over 2 decades in education, I hope you've written it down, and let's move forward. Let's make this so that it's relevant to each of us. Yeah? So you see a table here with 3 columns. Now the empty column is actually for you, for all of it's an exercise that you will do. Okay. When a goal is specific, what is the goal? What do I want to accomplish? So in your notebook at this point in time, I'm going to give you an exercise. If you are heading back to school in September, let's plan a goal of what you want to achieve in that first term. Can you do that? Can you write? So specific, I want to, and you fill in the blank. Maybe you want to improve in mathematics. Maybe you want to be able to make it to the sports team. Maybe you want to be the prefect, right? What is your goal for this coming term that is in September, right? Because we have many young people here who are heading back to school. If not, write a goal that you want to accomplish of something in your life. Maybe there is some kind of course that you want to take part in. Maybe there's something you want to learn. We have a few moms here. Maybe it's something that you want to study or to learn, or is something in your job you want to accomplish, right? Part 2. You're gonna get deep into it, don't worry. Make it measurable. How long will how will I know that I have accomplished the goal? Yeah. So it's like this, you know, I want to do better in maths. That's pretty okay. But how do you know when you've done better? Let's put a grade it or a mark it. So I want to accomplish a grade B, right? Maybe you've been, you know, that's okay. You've not been doing so well, that's fine. But you want to move forward. You want to go up to a B, or you want to be able to score like in the 80s now, right? Maybe you were a little lower and you want to just go up a bit. Yeah. So you're putting something specific, right? An exact thing, so that you know you've hit your mark. That's when you know you've hit your mark. it's like this. Let's say you want to go for a drive, right? Weather is nice, it's holiday time, you're going for a drive. But unless you put a destination, how do you know that you've reached your destination? You're just driving. Yeah, you're enjoying the drive. It's nice, the scenery is nice, but where are you actually going? What's your destination? When you put a destination to a goal where you're going to end up, then you know you've hit your goal when you reach that destination. And just like I said earlier, one accomplishment, the achievement of one level of accomplishment sets the stage for another. So now you've mastered some skills, you've mastered some a destination, you know how to get there. Nothing is holding you back from stretching a little further, from taking an extra drive from that destination now. Everybody with me? Yeah? Thumbs up, something, yeah?
Yes,
good?
miss.
All
Yes,
right,
yes.
lovely. Cool, good. Let's keep going. Now, it's attainable. What will I need to attain it? You have to put some action into the thing, right? We'll get into that. Is it relevant? Now, there is a word that is trending. Well, at least it's trending in my neck of the woods right now. Rabbit hole. You go down a rabbit hole of things. Now, this word here, relevant, is very important because I don't know about you, but sometimes in the pursuit of learning new things, I end up going down a rabbit hole and I end up in a place where I didn't expect to be. How many of you do that? Especially when you're researching things on social media or you're on YouTube and it takes you to another video and then another video. And then you wonder, how did I get here? Right? So sometimes to stay on track, it has to be relevant. And, you know, you have to develop that ability to discern, to know what's relevant and what's good for you and what's not, and pull yourself out of it when you find yourself sinking, right? When you find yourself going down that rabbit hole. Time bound. How long are you giving yourself? If you don't put a time frame to it, then you can't say that I was expecting this to be done by the end of this year. Well, putting a time to it kind of feeds the fact how much effort you will put into it, right? It will give you the motivation to put energy into it because you have a time frame. So this is the example that I was talking about. So I want to score 90%. I will have an exact amount I want to score. So I'm going to open the floor right here because I gave you an exercise, a little 10-second exercise. Or if you want to say it out, you want to share, no problem, no pressure. But if you feel open to sharing it, what is a goal, a specific goal that you want to set or that you are setting for yourself? Would anybody like to share that? You're just sticking with specific right now. Joanna, I see your hand is up.
Sorry for the noise in the background. One of my goals is maths. I'm terrible, literally terrible at maths.
My darling, let's change the narrative in that. Right? I will do better. Right?
Will do much better in maths.
Yes, I am working towards.
I'm working on it.
Yes,
my other goal is to speak 10 different languages. Right now I'm in the process of doing Spanish and I want to do French after and Portuguese and, you know, German and different languages. So when you go out there, you could speak them and not feel like you're nobody or you're left out.
Well, I want to applaud you for having such high goals. And you know what? I will say go for it. But let's put strategy into that so that you get each one, you hit each one of those goals. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joanna. I love that you shared, and it's a safe space to share, so feel free. I'm so happy. Shakira, your hand is up. You have a goal that you would like to share? Shadika, got it right, I think.
Good morning. Good day, by the way, later. Yeah. My goal is achieving my own business and working towards building my own house.
Fantastic, lovely. So that's step one in knowing exactly what you want. So I wanna advise you. I wanna just give you some advice to just take the other steps I'm gonna show you and add to that goal, so that it doesn't just look like a thought, but it looks like a plan. Right? When you have the plan laid out, anything is possible. Right? Anything will be possible. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it so much. Melanie?
I have a lot of long-term goals. That is why I broke up my goals into smaller sections to start working on them from now. Like, for example, my long-term goal would be like my dream job, like to be a biochemist, which is my dream job. And so therefore, I broke my goal into different pieces. So to make it easier, I would want to get a scholarship, but I have to start working from now to get those scholarships, because from next term, I will be going in Form 2, which means that is when the award ceremony is usually be held in our school. So each class, a few students gets awards for excelling in certain subjects, etc. So I would want to accomplish a scholarship in future. Therefore, I would continue my education and get to acquire my dream job of being a biochemist, because I've been working on that since like primary school, second year. So since that career day, so it means a lot to me.
Fantastic. I'm going to give you a phrase, and I want you to write it down. This explains what you've done. You've set a long-term goal and you're setting the state. It's called reverse engineering. Right? It's called reverse engineering. When you set a long-term goal and then you work backwards to see what do you need to do now, and each step that it takes, it's like, anybody remember the story from first year, second year, somewhere there, kindergarten, where Hansel and Gretel dropped the little, was it breadcrumbs to get where they had to go? Yeah, it's like that. You follow the steps to get where you need to go. So the big word for that is reverse engineering, right? You set a goal and now you figure out, well, how am I going to get there? We do it all the time as adults. We plan that we want to go on a vacation to Italy. We want to go, we know the destination now. What do we need to do to get there? Right? So that's the big word for that. Melanie, you will accomplish your goals, and I want you to never doubt yourself that is going to happen. Yeah? Is there anyone else who would love to share? Lorraine, yes?
My mic is frozen. All right, so I wasn't there for like the first 2 sessions because I wasn't available at the time. But what I just want to say is, ever since I was like in infants, I always wanted to be a veterinarian, and that is what I was always working for. Until like I got in an accident in school and I had to go to the hospital, and I asked doctor like how much studies you would have to do to become a veterinarian, and he said you had to do real plenty. You had to do like, because when they go to school, their science university, they have to learn like every degree of science, and then in the second year, I think they will branch off into the one they really want to do. And he said for veterinary sciences, you have to learn about all the animals, like every single animal. And you don't really get as much pay as usual doctors and things. And I even asked my previous agri science teacher, Miss Penda. I really love that teacher, but she retired, so she won't be coming back next term. But I believe like if I work towards my goals, I could achieve it. And for now, I just want to do better in my goals, because I'm going in Form 3 now, and and I always had like a struggle with Spanish because I don't know how somehow Spanish is always a struggle, and I always getting low marks in Spanish. So this time I want to improve in Spanish and do better. Because like in Form 3, if you choose French, you'd have to do Spanish and French. So I at least want to get better in Spanish. And I was sick from my French, so I didn't get to do it.
Okay, Lorraine, I want to congratulate you on having the goal and sticking to it. But I want to encourage all of us, and I put myself in this category as well. The way we speak to ourselves, I want to just encourage you with speaking positively about yourself. You know, even though you may not have accomplished the goal, the score, the mark that you set for yourself, yeah, there are certain words, or there are certain ways that we could just boost our own self-talk, right? The ways that we can boost our own self-talk. So yes, sometimes you just have to say, you know what, it's not that hard. A little Spanish ain't gonna keep me back. I can do that, and we take it in small chunks, right? So I just want to move forward because time is rolling forward, right? We want to make those goals measurable. So we said you want to do Spanish, Lorraine? Great. What is the score that you want to score in Spanish the next time around? Put a measurable amount to it. So if you've been scoring, I don't know your score, you don't have to say it out loud. Keep it to yourself. But when you're writing the goal now, because I want you to really encourage you to write, when you're writing it, put a score that's even better than you could expect. A little bit, not all the way up because we're reverse engineering, but higher or better than you are already doing, because we want to see you growing in that aspect. Yeah, we want you to grow, we want you to accomplish those things. Just like Hansel and Gretel were following the steps, the little breadcrumbs or the pebbles or whatever it was, step by step you'll get there. So put something there that you could measure it by. So those of you who want to have maybe there's a particular subject that challenges you. You don't struggle in it, you know, but it just challenges you. It stretches you beyond where you think you could go, right? What would you like to accomplish in that? Those of us in the adult arena here, if there's something in your job that challenges you, what is the benchmark that you want to accomplish that will make you feel like, hey, I crossed that hurdle, right? It could be something like maybe exercising. It can be something like maybe looking after your health. What do you want to accomplish? But make it very measurable. Now, this is the part that is absolutely important. I would put it as second place important, because first place of priority is putting it in God's hands and letting him take the wheel, right? But it's a partnership between you and him, so you have to put in some work too. Yeah. So what is the action you're going to take in order for you to achieve that goal? So I have an example there, which is I will dedicate 3 hours every day to studying my subjects. So for my ladies who told me about their goals and their reverse engineering and the subjects they're not doing so well in and the different goals that you want, you got to put some action into it. It's going to take consistency. And I want you to write that word down, consistent. Very, very consistent, whether it's for exercise or whether it's for studying, whether it's for improving yourself, whether it's my dear lady who says she wants to build her business. It will take consistency. Putting in the work. And you know what? Even when you don't feel like it. Because it's going to take commitment. When you're strong and you know why you're going after that goal, it's going to take you through the tough times. I know there are tough times. I know I still have children who are of teenagers in school age. And I see you have a long day at school, you're exhausted, you're tired, and you still have lessons to go to. Anybody relates to that? and now the lessons are in the evening, it's online. You've had a full day of school. The brain is exhausted, but you have a goal, and I see they go and they sit and they take in the lessons consistently. You want to improve your health. You told yourself, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to take that walk around the park 5 laps every day, or 5 laps 3 times a week, as the case might be. But if you tell yourself, oh, I'm too tired today, or that sun too hot, or whatever other excuse, then you're not going to achieve the full-time goal, the long-term goal. So it's going to take you committing yourself to taking consistent action. And that's a lesson for me. I speak to myself, and I hope it's speaking to you. I hope it's planting a seed somewhere for you as well. So that is the A in the word smarter. So now we reach the letter R, which makes it relevant. We talked about relevant. We're going down the rabbit hole. R is not rabbit hole, okay? R is relevant. It's relevant and it's relatable. So, for example, my 2 ladies here who talked about the goals that they want to achieve, as a vet, as a biochemist, my dear lady who said she wants to open her own business. Are you exposing yourself, or are you reading about how to start a business? Are you looking at things that are going to feed the business that you want to invest yourself in? Are you building your skills in that? What is the skill that you have that you want to open a business with? Are you building up that skill? How about the young lady who wants to be a vet? Are you reading books that about or watching documentaries about animals? And you know, there are all these documentaries that tell us about animals around the world and different scenarios. And are you feeding your brain? Are you surrounding yourself with information that is going to be relevant to the goal that you have? Yeah. Are you looking to see what kind of job opportunities or what kind of opportunities there are globally for the skill that you want to acquire? Right? Because I'm gonna feed it into you. When you prepare yourself for the world for your career, or what your gift is, or what you want to do as your job, think globally. Because we live in a world and a society where it's now borderless. You can take that skill oftentimes and take it to a different country and apply it, right? So think along that line. Look, when you spend your time on social media, you know, you just have a time frame to spend, and you Google something, use your time Googling things that are going to feed into the goals that you have to make it relevant, right? My dear lady there who talked about business, there's sometimes when you're scrolling, you might see a business seminar, right? Register to get into it. So that you find yourself in the right circles, sit into that. Get mentors who can mentor you so that you stay relevant, you stay relatable to the goal that you have. And sometimes it might be a teacher in your school for my students here. It might be attending a seminar and meeting someone. It might be someone in a virtual forum like this who you kind of say, hey, I like the way that person related, or that person might be able to help me out. I could just ask, you know? So reach out in that way if that is something that is going to help you to achieve your goals, right? You have to stretch yourself in that way too. Sometimes it will require you, maybe a face-to-face mentor is not available, but there are books we can read. I see Miss Dr. Zina was using one of my favorite authors, John C. Maxwell. There are books you can read that's going to feed you in the right path. There are so many positive things on YouTube that authors and motivational speakers and people who have done the things that you want to do, they put out training videos. Take a look, explore. So don't just look at what the negative side of the internet gives you. It gives you a lot of positives too. Stay on the side of that, right? So stick with the things that make your goal relevant and relatable. And try not to sink down the rabbit hole. It's easy, but stay on the right path, right? So that's the R in the word SMART. T, time. You know, when someone invites you for an event, they tell you what time it's going to start. If somebody said, you know, there's the Dream Big 2023 event, it's going to be every Saturday between July and August. I would love for you to come. And they leave it just like that. Something's missing, right? They didn't tell you what time. You don't know when it's going to start. You don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know how to schedule the rest of your day or what to do with it, right? It leaves you hanging. Just like that. Similar, take that and let's apply it to your goals. Put a time to it because you want to see the point at which the thing happens, right? Because it keeps you accountable. It keeps you on track. And I have there some things you could use. You can use a good old-fashioned calendar. I mean, if you write your goals on a calendar, you know, paper and pen, remember those things? Paper and pen, and you flip the calendar and you write on it. I do that still, right? I have one. I have apps that I use. There are apps you could use to keep you on track, right? There's different apps that people use for their business as well. There are some you don't have to pay for, so look into those, right? Those of you who are into the business part of it, there is Asana and all those others that you can use, keeps you on track. There are alarms you can put on your phone that tells you, hey, it's time to go do this thing. I have an alarm, I'll share this just between you and me. I have an alarm that goes off to tell me it's time to give some gratitude. I do. Honestly, I do. And I leave it as a recurring alarm, a daily recurring alarm. Because sometimes in the busyness of life, sometimes you just have to give gratitude for the air that you breathe and even the challenges that you get. You have to give gratitude for that too. Because it will stretch you, it will teach you something. Vision boards. Vision boards doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be something as simple as a sheet of paper, you know, your regular printing paper or your notebook, and you write the things that you want to accomplish. Journals as well. Yeah. So it is so timely to talk about time because we're almost at time. And I just want to open the floor, if you would permit me, for a couple of minutes because I see some hands are going up. And I want to know, has any of this impacted you in achieving the goal? Has it been of value to you? And which ones are you going to really use? Which of these aspects of SMART are you going to use to pursue achieving your goal? So I have Joanna has her hand up.
I have two questions, but
Yes.
I will start by the first one. The question you asked earlier in today's session, where you said with New Year's and Old Year's. For me personally, a New Year's a new you, a new me, a new us, a new everything. So once you go into that new year, you don't have the old goals, you have new goals that you set. So it's a new you, a new everything, a new personality, a new attitude, behavior, everything, a new you, right? My next question is, yes, I will use Time and Bound from S.M.A.R.T and two others from today's session as well. And yes, I found it helpful and be able to set my goals.
Thank you very much. I see Melanie. Melanie, you have a question or a comment?
Yes, Miss. Miss, it occurred to me that without a time bound, people can they can procrastinate a lot. Because a wish, as we spoke about at the start, I've had a lot of times where
I had this interest in something and I so wanted to do it. And then all of a sudden I feel like, you know what, I could do that later, again and again. And then I didn't do it until the end of the week. It's like one of my friends, she had made this like pillow, and that's how I ended up making one myself, because like until then, that was the time when she had motivated me to make mine. So it took me so long to finally say, well, let me start making this thing. I want to try it. I had to try it. And then I ended up making 2 more, and now I get back lazy. I don't want to make no more.
You raised a, thank you, Melanie. You raised a good point. Procrastination is the thief of time. Procrastination really keeps you back from moving forward, right? So that's something that can be rectified if we talk about time management. It's a simple way of, there are some strategies that we could use for procrastination. Yeah, setting, and it goes back with setting a space of time to do certain things. Maybe setting an alarm to do those things when the time is right, and doing it regardless of how you feel. There's a difference between feeling and commitment. Sometimes you just feel to do it or you don't, and you have to do it because you're committed and you have the end goal in mind. Yes, Deborah. Yes.
Wow, I must say I just really am proud of Melanie, for shining and participating so freely, and keep it up, keep it up. And thinking of time, when I was growing up, my father used to say, I know we used to say the original thing was 1 day at a time, but then my dad used to say every half day at a time. When 12 o'clock come, it's like the day finished, because we normally rise early with the sun. By 5 we up, 5:30 we up. And then by 12 o'clock, we will say, what have you done for your day? Because the day finished. But for me right now, I am saying with every moment, with every breath, there's a renewal, and then it's not about the amount of breaths you take, it's about creating the amount of moments that take your breath away. And that is what I am. Every moment is a moment to renew and do something different, something new. So I just thought I will just share this with you girls. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. You said that be transformed by the renewal of your mind came to my mind, because when we renew our mind, it transforms so much in us. The way we behave, the things we say, the things we do, the actions we take. I see one more hand going up, and then I'm going to pass it to our host. So Johanna, you have the floor.
I find today's session was lovely, by the way. Thanks. And time. I find for me, I have a lot of time on my hands. And I find myself every day, I was like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do this. I don't want to see the teacher's faces on the computer. I don't want nothing to do with online. I just want to be by myself. And I found that isolation. I have so much time. I could get up. I could go study. I could read. I could exercise. I could do different things in that space of time. For me, when I spend my time, I spend with my family. Most of the times when I see my family outside, we come outside, we laugh, that is time. But I also find for time unbound that you teach today in today's session with goals is that it have so many different ways you could do your goals. Is it you want to spend, it have a goal where you could spend so much time with your family. That's a goal where you want to create memories. You could do that. It have so much goals and things you could do just in today's time,
Thank you for sharing that, Joanna. I just want to, I want to build on what you said here. And I could relate to that in terms of when I went from working at a job where I had to go to an office, and I transitioned into working online, working from my home. And of course, I enjoyed it in the first few months, so yeah. And then I started to feel like I missed people. But you know what? It sent me, as we say, a rabbit hole kind of thing. But then I had to change it. And, I told you, I have an app that lets me know I should do some gratitude. So you know how I changed it? And maybe I hope this helps you. I get to do this. I get to be in the comfort of my home and spend more time with my family. I get to stay out of the traffic. That's a good thing. I get to manage my time the way I want to. So sometimes we take things that are new to us, and sometimes change is hard, right? Right? Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. I have to change my mind, change the way I think about it, to be able to appreciate the new way that I am doing things, right? It's a new way. It's just a new way. There's a lot you could get from that. Just to change it and say, I get to do this instead. So I was very blessed to get to share this with you. I'm very blessed to be able to get to be in a platform like this, and so many people. I didn't have to go to the airport to travel to meet all of you from different countries. So I got to do this. So with that, I want to say thank you so very much for allowing me the opportunity that I got to do this. And with that, I want to hand it over to our host, and thank you again. I wish you all a most wonderful, wonderful, beautiful weekend. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Marsha. That was very impactful, very incredible and informative. I must say, yes, Dr. Zina just put up something in the chat about time management. I don't know if you've heard of the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique, that is a very powerful technique whereby you concentrate and you study for 25 minutes, and then you give yourself a 5 or 10 minutes break, a little treat, a little reward. So you just break it up, you know, and in chunks. So that's really nice, and nice techniques for the girls to take note of. Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys. Thank you so much, Marsha. Thank you so much, Dr. Zina. Thanks, Deborah. It's been amazing. I think it's been 2 wonderful, wonderful presentations, very interactive. I'm really, really amazed at the interaction from the young ladies, so participative, you know, asking questions, making suggestions. I think they've learned so much. I mean, we as adults have learned as well. You know, SMART goals, it need to be specific, you need to be measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And I think the girls really got the idea of being time-bound, because it's just a wish unless you really set a time frame to something, then you can go on and on and on, and it never really happens. And we're all guilty of that. You know, we procrastinate and we think, oh, I want to do this, so I want to achieve this. And we never set a time to it. And it goes on for years, it could go on for decades. But once we set that time, you know, we're more bound to it. That's why it's called time bound. And we tend to want to achieve, you know, once we set a time frame to something. I mean, Dr. Zina, thank you so, so much. All the various leadership styles, the various characteristics of leaders. I think it's really, you know, inspiring the girls to be positive leaders, because as we see, we can be, you know, negative leaders as well. And we want to be positive influencers within our community, within our families, and society in general. So I think it's really been inspirational. Really, really thank, you know, our 2 partners, Marsha and Co-Africa, Dr. Zina and Dr. Norva, for being there. Really been spectacular. Thanks, Deborah, for chiming in, and, you know, it's been an amazing session. Ricardo, thank you so, so much. Any last words as we look to close off? We're just over 12 noon, Atlantic Standard Time. It's already afternoon, after 5 in the UK. Any closing words? Dr. Zina, probably ready for dinner.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being here this morning. And a reminder to check out the YouTube videos and share them with people that you believe could benefit from it. And just to address a point that Odelia raised in the chat earlier, I edit what is said in the chat before it goes on to the video, in the sense that it's not everything that you put in the chat ends up in the video. I've also started changing the voices and taking out the names for certain contributions so that people will not be able to identify who spoke about a certain thing. Right, so we're going to do everything that we can to protect your privacy, but still share some very important information. So on that note, I want to thank you. Appreciate you guys, and have a good day, and God bless. Remember, as Deborah says, a girl empowered is a community empowered. Right, so thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.